Hi everyone. So it's Rowena here. We are going to do a session on budgeting tips for students. So we're just going to invite Megan to join us.
Hi,
Hey Megan, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. So I've just posted or about to post a comment under here. Just a quick overview, and there's also a link that I'll do. Yeah, so Megan, if you want to introduce yourself quickly,
Okay,
that'd be
hi.
great.
I'm Megan. I'm a PhD student currently at the University of Kent, and I've also done my undergrad degrees at Kent, so I've been at Kent a long time.
Same. Um, yeah, the link's not showing up. I think the message is too long. Let's see if we can. No, okay. So yeah, today, like I mentioned, we'll be talking about budgeting tips whilst at university. And my name's Rowena. I'm also a, PhD student. I also did my undergrad here as well, so I've been at Kent for a while. So hopefully, our tips can help some of you guys watching today.
I hope so.
Hmm. So this year in particular has been really important with managing money with what's going on around the world, and I think everyone's found it quite challenging. But do remember there is lots of financial support available from the university, and I'll post a link shortly as well for you guys to look at. And my top tip, probably just to kickstart it off, is to not wait too late. If you really do need help, just ask for help as soon as you need it. Otherwise, whatever it is you're going through is just going to get more complicated, and it's not going to help you, your mental health or your studies at all. So that would definitely be my top tip. Megan, what have you found that helps you budget?
It's like you say, especially this year, it's been harder to manage budgets.
Mm,
When COVID shut down, I lost a lot of my part-time work.
mm,
I'm a full-time PhD student and I work part-time, so learning how to manage with what I was earning at the time became a bit more
mm.
difficult. Mostly, I find writing down what your monthly expenses are to be so helpful. I showed you this the other day, but I have a diary that has a bill tracking page in it.
Yes.
Doing that I found is so good so that I'm not surprised by an expense that comes out on a certain day that I wasn't expecting.
Mm,
Knowing exactly when my direct debits come out is really helpful to make sure that I have enough going week by week.
awesome. Yeah, I really like your planner. It's amazingly organized.
Yeah, I think it's
My
from a
stuff,
company called the
sorry.
Box Clever Press. Sorry, yeah, the Box Clever Press do really nice diaries with
Mm.
budget trackers in them.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely recommend having a budget planner. I know you've got a paper one, but there's sort of app ones as well, and ones you can have online. So I think that if you're really keen, you can have a spreadsheet on Excel, or I think you mentioned, I think you've got a Monzo account, haven't you?
Yeah, Monzo cards are quite good because every expense that you pay on it as a card, you can allocate to a certain area. So you can say it's a grocery expense or a bill expense. It's good as a way of seeing where your money gets spent, is how I found it quite useful.
Awesome. Yeah, I've not had personal experience with that. I have given the apps a go, and I think there's a ratio that people recommend, and then you break down sort of what are the essential expenditures, and then you've got some left over for um, extra unessential things, but things you still want to spend money on, so you don't feel as guilty going out to the shop.
Yeah,
Um, and I guess it's also really important to mention every month isn't the same.
yeah,
Some expenditures come out some months, every few months, or it might be like I don't know about you guys, but my bills aren't included, and we pay for that separately. And the water, for example, that comes out quarterly, so we have
yeah.
to keep an eye out for that
For me,
and
it's the
budget
big
accordingly.
expenses that you don't account for,
Mm,
like getting my bus pass at the start of the year and things like that, that
yeah.
have to be taken into
Mm,
account a couple of months in advance. So
mm,
I always try and keep, when I can, a month's worth of expenses as a kind of in case of emergency pot. Having some money put aside for like those big expenses that you don't have to pay all the time, like bus passes, potentially car insurance, that kind of thing. If you've got a car,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
it's helpful to have a kind of buffer zone so that if, for example, you work part time like I do on a temp basis and there isn't so much temp work in a month, you've got something to fall back on.
Mm, absolutely. Um, yeah, it might help as well. I saw something online where someone recommended that you open a separate account and then you direct debit yourself your monthly budget over every month, and then you don't have that. You actually have to go in and transfer more money if you actually need it.
Yeah.
But you or give yourself a little mini cap. If you're really impulsive, I don't know, in the shop. And then do not go food shopping on an empty stomach.
100%. I completely
Big
agree
tip.
with that. Also, making sure that you write a list before you go grocery shopping sounds really
Mm,
basic, but the number of times I've written a shopping list down on paper and left it on my table, arrived at the shop, and then just bought everything I wanted rather than what I actually needed. And my housemate does all of her shopping lists on her phone because there's far less
mm,
likelihood of leaving your phone at home than there is of leaving a piece of paper on a table.
mm,
Um, yeah,
definitely. I guess with the food shop, on the topic of that, you can be a bit smarter with your budgeting by, if you live with housemates or I've got a couple of friends who live near you, do like a group food shop. I found that quite good in my second year when there were quite a few of us, because we didn't drive, none of us had a car or anything, so we didn't really want to be carrying bottles or heavy like drinks bottles or anything like
no,
that up the hill. And it wasn't too practical getting on the bus. So we did a group, I think, an Asda shop it was, and you all put whatever you want in, and then you can all split the delivery cost, so it makes it a little bit cheaper. And any bulk buy discounts you can add on. So we found that quite good. It saved us a little bit, not a lot all in one go, but it all kind of adds up. So it really
yeah.
does make a difference.
Over the course of the year, like what I use my Monzo account for now is the kind of
Mm,
communal house expenses. So anytime you
mm,
need to buy things like tinfoil today or like cleaning products, things like that, it's good to have a pot because there's no point people buying the same thing twice.
mm,
And then that way you can split the cost, especially if you're living in like a shared flat on campus or like I live in a shared
mm,
house off campus. It's good to have a kind of pot for those expenses that should be shared. So one housemate isn't buying all the loo roll like happened to me in a
mm.
previous house.
Yeah. And I guess with being smart with your money, shop around.
Yeah,
Um, Even if it means going a bit further for something you could be saving a few quid, or if you're buying, I find like canned things are quite good for this, but sort of the own brand stuff
yeah,
does the same job. But we're talking ketchup, obviously only Heinz. I'm kidding, but it does save you a couple of quid and like shopping around. There was a website before that I used that compared supermarket items with other supermarkets, so where it was cheapest at each one. And it might mean like going to another shop for a couple of things. But again, it all adds up. So shop
yeah,
around, whatever's most convenient might not be cheapest for a particular thing, or it might be, I don't know. But keep an eye out and be aware that it might sort of, the price might work out a bit better elsewhere, and know what you're paying for. If you've got subscriptions to things that you've totally forgotten about, um, I definitely have like a free trial and then it rolls over and then you
yeah,
get charged. And then you're like, no, but it's kind of your fault because you totally forgot. I now set phone reminders for all of these things. Just so a few days before I know, oh, this is about to come up and the trial is going to expire, the free trial, make sure you cancel or keep it and then factor it into
yeah.
your budget. Um, but yeah, don't forget about things like that because that called me out a few times. As good as the free trial was to start with, it was a bit, oh no, I forgot about it kind
Yeah,
of
I
thing.
recently did that with Spotify. I forgot to change it from a free trial to a student account, so I
Oh
had
no.
a late night call to like
Oh,
one of those instant chat messages saying,
yeah,
"I'm really
yeah.
sorry, I am a student. I promise. Please, can you make it cheap?" And they did, so it was brilliant. But
Awesome.
making sure you know which things also have student accounts, I find is also really
Mm,
helpful. Like I think there's a free 6 month Amazon Prime trial. Making
mm,
sure you then convert that to a student account if you want to continue it for the year
yeah.
is a good way of saving some money. But also
Mm,
then that's one of those kind of big once a year expenses unless you budget it monthly. which is slightly
Yeah.
more expensive over the course of the year. But if that works better for you, do what's best for your finances. Don't necessarily do what I say, for example. It's good to know your own budget and how it will spread out over the course of the year.
Yeah, it's so important that all of these tips are sort of, there are tips, but they might not work for you necessarily, but hopefully it might work for some of you, or you might be able to adapt some of them to make them work for you. But yeah, one fix isn't for all, so yeah, it might work for some and not others. And I guess other things are back on the topic of what you get a student discount for, things like you can get a 1625 rail card, perhaps more relevant to new students who might not be aware of this. And I'm pretty sure even if you're not 25, even though if you're a student and you have a certain number of hours, taught hours as part of your course, you can still apply for that.
Yeah, I am now 30 and I still technically have a 16 to 25 rail card because I'm a full-time student. You just have to fill out this mature student form, but it's great for getting 25% off.
Yeah.
I think it's 25% off.
I think it's a third off, actually.
Yeah, it is a third. Yeah, you're right. But it's good to get a lot of rail travel. There's also a coach card for National Express if that's your preferred way of travel that does similar discounts. But there are so many free sites as well you can sign up to, like Uni Days and Student Beans online, where you can get loads of discounts on a lot of different shops. It's worth looking around all of the student discount sites because different sites do different discounts for different things. Also having a totem card, which is done through the NUS. I've managed to get a 3-year student card with that. So I found that brilliant for getting discounts at, for example, Superdrug, Boots, and I believe Funky Pigeon as well. I've used in the last week to get discount on cards.
But yeah, it's not bad because for doing not a lot of effort, you can get maybe like up to 20% off stuff that you're about to buy anyway. I guess that's the other important thing. Even though you get a discount on something, don't buy it unless you actually need it. Otherwise, the discount kind of cancels out because you've just made an unnecessary expenditure. But for signing up to a website and just before you buy something, maybe something a bit more expensive, if you're looking at shoes or clothes or whatever, electronics, those sites are really good to look at just to see if you can save a couple of quid.
It's always worth a quick, even if it's just Googling offer codes for a certain website. The number of times I've done that, like for my parents or things at home, even while I've been here, it's great to make the most of the discounts that are out there. If you're on a budget and you know there's something that you definitely need, there's no harm in seeing if you can get 10% or 20% or something off it.
Absolutely. And who doesn't like a discount code?
Exactly.
Other things, I guess, is be aware of what you can get free. So council tax, for instance, you don't need to pay that if you live on campus, you don't need to worry about that. But if you're off campus, when the letter comes through, don't worry, because it looks like a huge, crazy amount. But you just need to contact, I think, the administrative office and the registry, and they'll be able to issue you a exemption letter, and you don't have to worry about that. So again, a bit of a saving, which isn't bad because it's quite a big saving. Only buy what you need. Mentioned that just now. I think, Megan, you had a really good tip about the shopping basket trick.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys are like me and you constantly have a full basket on most websites. For example, I like the clothes at Sainsbury's, so I've had several things in my basket waiting for the run up to Christmas so I can just tell my family, here you go, they've already got the sizes, they've already got the colours, just order all of these. I've had them in my basket for a couple of weeks and the 2 sale came up today, so it's 25% off. So immediately I rang my mum and said, please buy these, they're in this basket, that's all done. But it's a good way of, if you're on a budget, to not overspend. If you keep something in your basket for say a week, and if you still know that you need it at the end of that week, then buy it. There are so many times where I've impulse bought something that 6 months down the line I look at it and go, I haven't touched you, I haven't really looked at you. I'm especially like that with clothes, or like for my birthday I bought one of those handheld hoovers. It was a great investment at the time. It was great for when we moved, but I now haven't used it since I've been in my new house. So it's one of those things where I think maybe I shouldn't have impulse purchased it. But in the long run, I'm now trying to stick to the idea that if it's in my basket for a week and I still want it and I still need it, that's when I actually invest in it.
It's a good plan. With I guess trying to get more money, I guess the other thing is it's worth to mention looking for jobs. So there's loads of different there's lots of help on this at the university. For those who are newer students, might not be aware, we have the careers service and they are awesome. And we also have Job Shop as well.
Yeah, Job Shop are good for picking up temporary contracts or temporary work. I've done a lot of things like marketing and working on open days for the university. There's a lot of difference in the jobs that are available. There are some that are traditional kind of retail or working in hospitality. And another one, I was paid to ask people what their favourite part about university was, to make a giant picture, which is currently, I think, in it's opposite the co-op in the building. So there's all sorts of jobs you can do for them. And it's good just to pick up a little bit of extra income at a time where if you plan ahead, for example, for Christmas, I've planned ahead knowing that obviously Christmas is going to be a slightly bigger expenditure. I'm working a bit more to make up for what I know I'm going to end up spending on presents for people.
And always keep an eye out, I guess, because they've got newsletters and haven't been on campus in the last week, but they do usually post ads in the window, so that's really good. Just if you're going to the co-op anyway, have a look. You might see something that you might fancy, and there's usually places that are hiring off campus in particular. There's loads of restaurants and cafes and shops, as we all know, so have a little wander through, and sometimes they might post something on their window, so keep an eye out if you are on the hunt for a job.
And it's worth looking on sites like Indeed and things, especially around Christmas, like temp contracts for seasonal work. There's always a lot going around in Canterbury.
Definitely. So I guess, unless you want to add anything, Megan, we can open it up to questions.
Yeah, the only other thing I could think of was store cards. If you're planning on staying in Canterbury for a good couple of years, it's worth signing up to things like a Nectar card for Sainsbury's, Tesco Club cards, a Boots card, any of these schemes where you can rack up points that eventually get you discounts on things. So if you're going to end up buying a weekly shop there anyway, it can't hurt to get a little bit of money off it.
Great. So if anyone has any questions, just pop it in the comments box, and we'll do our best to answer them. That's all right. And I'll find that finance page as well that I mentioned earlier, and I'll post the link in the comments.
Yeah, the university is very good at having options. So if there is a point, like you said at the beginning, if there is a point where you feel like you're struggling and you need some financial support, get in contact with the advice centre or people, because there are avenues that can help you. I know Kent Union has had a food bank in the past. I think it's still running on campus. So there are always resources that can help you should you need them.
Awesome. Let me just get this link. Quickly drop it in.
Someone said it's going to be good. Yes.
Yeah. So I've just posted the link to the coronavirus supports, particularly on finance, for extra financial support. Have a look through. If you're struggling again, don't leave it last minute. That's literally our top tip. There is loads of help there. So have a little read through and see if any of that can help you. And yeah, we've got any other questions on budgeting today?
I don't know if it's my phone isn't loading. My phone isn't doing comments at the moment. I think I pressed something that's made all the words go away. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we haven't got any specific questions on budgeting, but you're welcome to comment on this after we're done on the live, and we'll try our best to answer them. Yeah, We are unfortunately running out of time. This is only going to be a quick 20-ish minutes one, but we'll be doing future live sessions as well, so keep an eye out for the next one. And there will be different themes. And yeah, if you do have any questions in the meantime, feel free to message the university either on Instagram here or one of its other social media accounts or email or whatever you prefer. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And thank you, Megan, for joining us, making time for us on your busy university
That's fine.
schedule. Fab.
No
Well,
problem. I'm sure this will be up for another sort of 24 hours as well.
Definitely. Well, yeah, I'll catch you all later.
Bye, everyone.
See you later, Megan. Bye.